question is, how do we get them to express that? What we're going to do now that we've already done what we normally do in unpacking workshops, we'll do one. The first one's always, courageous, and then the second person that we unpack is like even more nervous. They're afraid. Oh my God, am I going to, and they're also thinking, well, maybe I have a leg up. But I want you guys to welcome Lily. Lily's a finance major. An MBA student, but evidently they had another pressing engagement. So have a seat, Lily. And we're going to talk just a little bit, give you another example. I may go in some different directions, and then we'll debrief it and have some questions and answers for all of us. I want you to leave today with what you need. So I'm hoping then you can ask questions about how can you use this or adapt this. Any questions you have, we'd love to respond to. So Lily, thanks for doing this. Yeah, I'm going to let you use the mic just so that everyone can hear you. And that way you don't feel like you have to shout or anything like that. So Lily, you're a junior? You're a junior, and you're a finance major. And where did you study?
I studied in Paris.
In Paris. And how long were you there?
A semester.
A semester, okay. And what were you studying in Paris?
I did a corporate finance course and a supply chain management, and then a lot of different management courses.
So supply chain and what else?
Management.
Management?
Oh, and French.
In French.
French.
Okay. And did you speak French before you went?
Some, yeah. I have a minor in French, so that was my second to last course.
That was your second course?
Second to last.
Second to last course.
My requirements.
How did your language skills change during the time that you were there?
They changed a lot. When I first got there, I could understand sometimes when people spoke slowly, but towards the end I could understand everything. And I even found coming back in my French class here at UT that the professor was speaking a little slow. So I know that my understanding increased a lot. And speaking to French students, every time I spoke to someone from my floor, I made them speak French to me. So that helped me a lot with my oral skills.
So you didn't speak any English when you were there?
Oh, no, I did. Not with the French.
English is a common denominator often between international students. It was very interesting to listen to different interpretations of English, right?
Oh, is there some internationals that spoke French to each other?
So you made a French student speak French to you. Why did you do that?
I wanted to challenge myself and force myself to speak it, and even in situations where I didn't know the vocabulary, sometimes I would just make up words and have them correct me, and then I would remember and just keep growing on that.
Can you think of another example where you kind of really pushed yourself, took yourself to a limit, challenged yourself?
I did take a French class, management class in French, and it was a negotiations class. So that was a little difficult since I was not only speaking French, but I was negotiating in French. And it was a little embarrassing at times when I didn't understand everything they were saying, but it forced me to really put my thoughts together in French and make arguments. That was a challenge.
Did you make any bad deals?
No, I did not. Not that I can think of.
But you said it was a little embarrassing at first. Why was it embarrassing? Did something happen that kind of made you laugh in class, or?
Well, there was one time when I was the constructing director. Well, we each took on roles for this specific case, and they were. It was this case about a neighborhood and building a new apartment complex, and they were using this word trottoir, which I thought, I wasn't sure if it was a street or a footpath. So I just said we could use that to store all the construction trucks and for traffic to go through there. But then later, and everyone just giggled, and I didn't really know what I said until later when I asked my friends, and they told me that it was a footpath.
Okay, so you did, it was just something small, but logistically, if you were an actual, in a real thing, that might have undermined your credibility, right?
Definitely. international student in that class, so
Okay.
I was a little.
How did the other students in the class treat you?
Pretty well, I think. Yeah, in general. So, and there's a lot of international students in that school, so I think they're used to having international students.
Do you interact a lot with international students here?
Yes, I do. Actually, I'm the peer advisor for international programs, so I do. And I try to make friends with them every semester, really get to know them.
Is that any different? Was that before you went on study abroad, or did it change after?
No, that was before.
Okay. Okay. Where did you live in Paris?
I lived in the dormitories from the school, since the school wasn't in Paris, it was outside.
Okay. And who was in there? Was it with a bunch in international floor, or?
No, my floor was about 2/3 French and 1/3 international.
Okay. Tell me about some of the relationships you built there.
I tried to push myself to really get to know the French people, since I know a lot of international students always end up going abroad and only making friends with mostly internationals. And the French have the reputation of being more closed-minded and just having their own groups of friends, so I tried to push into that. And I took advantage of the fact that the French students on our floor were very inviting at first, at the beginning of the semester. They invited us to dinner, and so I tried to talk to all these students, and especially the ones that I had talks with, and just build on those relationships.
Can you tell me a time when you went out at night and maybe an experience that was just a little different for you to get used to socially?
I guess there's one time when I went to a dinner with one of the French students, and it was different that we got there, and I don't know, I guess the way they interacted, I would say that there was a lot more talking. It was a lot smaller. Where I know that most parties here, house parties, they usually invite a lot of people, and it's just about meeting new people, whereas there it was more about building on those smaller relationships that I already had.
And do you keep in touch with these folks?
Yeah, I do.
How?
With Skype and Facebook, and I try and use Skype so I can practice their first.
Tell me a little bit about the finance courses you took.
Our professor was it was a bit different from what I'm used to. I got used to having smaller classes and our classes being more interactive here, and being in an honors program. And then the class there was more of a lecture, and people did not ask questions in that class, so it was all lecture.
So all lecture. Was that intimidating?
Very. And our professor was very strict and very rigid with his rules. Every time a person would come in late, he would reprimand them and say, "Oh, do you have something better to do?" And even if a student stood up during class to go to the restroom, he did not appreciate that, and he would not let people leave the classroom. So it's very rigid. No.
Did you ever leave to go to the bathroom?
No.
So you were never called out?
Well, at the beginning of the semester, I was late once or twice, and then never did again.
So how did you feel?
Well, at first it was a little strange, since professors here at our school are very flexible with that and a lot more relaxed, I guess. But I guess it helped us focus more, and the professor had to be that way to get this material in on time. There's a lot of material.
Did you ever meet with the professor in office hours?
Not until the end of the semester.
Why?
In France, they don't really, it's just not a custom. And yeah, and there was no homework, really. So I didn't have any questions to ask. And it's just not encouraged and not required.
So you really had to adjust to a different way of learning.
Mm-hmm.
How did you handle the ability? I mean, you asked a lot of questions here?
Sometimes. But what we did, and well, a big difference is that we didn't get very much homework or as much to do throughout the semester. So everything was mostly focused on the finals, and we only had one midterm and final in some classes. So what we did, and we asked the professor if he could give us any more work to do. So he made copies for us of the different textbooks, since we didn't even have a textbook. And we just had to really work together with each other, especially towards the final, work with other students to really understand what was doing.
And how did you organize these groups? Was it a whole class working together or smaller groups?
No, it was smaller study groups.
How did you form your study group?
Well, I found someone that seemed like he was very interested in the class, and we just got a group together of students who wanted to really study and really learn material.
So everybody had a similar motivation and what role did you play in that group?
I think we all contributed just as much. We each had different strengths as far as the material that we understood, so we would just explain different topics to each other.
What topic was yours?
I can't remember. It had to do with just in time inventory.
What should I know about JIT inventory?
I can't remember. I think it was more the planning of the progress of things, how actually no, it was more of planning for future demand and planning ahead and making sure it's
So forecasting?
yes.
Forecasting relative to finance?
Yeah, I think so.
How does it differ in the supply chain situation versus finance situation?
In finance, it's more holistic, I think. You have to look at politics, you have to look at different countries, the economy, and I feel like in supply chain, it's a lot more specific to that country, to that company.
Okay. Good. Tell me a little bit about your finance classes. What did you take away? You were a finance major, so you must have loved this.
Yeah, I think it was very interesting that he approached it from, since we were in France, I know that here we only learn American law and American policies, and there he would teach about the American way and foreign taxes, foreign policies. So that was very interesting to see the difference, how it affected investor behavior, what they invested in, and then also how they distributed dividends versus how much they retained in the company.
And did you just do this last semester? So you were in Europe during probably one of the most volatile times in the market, in world markets. How did you talk about those things in class? Did you talk about them in class?
I don't think we really talked about them much in our class. I mean, students talked about them, and it was all over the newspapers, but in class we didn't really talk about it.
So what was the general reaction in France to what was going on here in the U.S. and then what was happening to the markets for a while?
I think at first there was surprise and a little bit of shock, but then I guess they were just curious to see what came next.
Pardon me?
They're just curious to see what would happen next.
Were you like reading this regularly in the papers there?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Not all the time?
I did not read the newspaper every day.
What do you want to do when you graduate? Really?
Either something to do with banking or consulting. I don't decide yet.
So either banking or consulting? Investment banking?
Maybe.
Maybe. Not much of a market there now, but you know.
Not going to happen in your lifetime.
Okay, let's imagine you're a consultant, and you are going to consult on financial investments in Europe. what is essential for me to know as an investor?
I guess it's very important to keep up with politics. That seems to impact that a lot.
Give me an example. How does politics affect the market more in France than it does here?
Regulation, I would say, is a big thing.
Such as?
I think employee rights and unions and things like that have a big role in France, especially with, I mean, they're pretty famous for having riot workers' rights movements.
And does it have a positive or negative effect on dividends? Okay, good. Tell me a little bit about what you did on weekends.
Most of the time I traveled, and there was only a few weekends when I stayed in Paris since I had some classes.
Where did you choose to go and why?
It was very hard choosing, but during school, well, I did a month of travel before school started, since our school started very late, started in October. But during school, we went to Switzerland over the fall break, since I'd never seen snow and I wanted to see it. And also I heard that it was just a very beautiful place and the people were very nice. And yeah, it would be interesting to see the difference between the North and the South and how the mix of French and German pretty hard.
Were you ever in a situation where you felt unsafe or threatened?
I think once when I was in Barcelona, yes.
In Barcelona? Of all places, Barcelona. Okay.
Yeah, it was a little scary since I was there by myself, but I got to meet people and just try to spend a lot of time with people.
Okay. So you went to Barcelona all on your own?
This is my first week in Europe, yes.
In your first week? And what made you decide to go on your own?
I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened to be that way.
You didn't do it on purpose. How did it just happen?
Well, I was supposed to travel with one of my friends, but she couldn't get her visa in on time. But I already had my plane ticket and my hostel booked, so I just decided to go for it. And I thought I would meet up there with some people that I knew.
And what? Oh, so but you did know some people there.
Yes.
Kinda.
I mean, I did, but the people that I thought lived there were actually working in Madrid. And then the other people I knew, well, I knew them too. But they were not going to be available for me to meet with them until later on.
Okay. So how scary was that?
It was a little scary, but I think I just made good friends very quickly and stuck with them and traveled. I did sightseeing with them, and then when they left, then I spent more time with this other New Zealand girl.
So what is New Zealand too? Tell me a little, when you think about your ability to operate in an international environment, what do you think your greatest strength is?
I think language was a huge thing and a huge help, but just that I can meet people quickly and make friends easily and use them, I guess, is to help me out. And also that I'm very flexible. I've been abroad several times, but I did a mini study abroad in China when I was in high school, so that wasn't my first time to be outside of the country by myself. So I'm just very flexible.
So that early experience gave you greater confidence then when you went to.
Right.
Did you see a difference between like maybe you and somebody who was abroad for the first time?
Yeah, I feel like some of my friends who hadn't been abroad were a lot more organized and they had everything planned, everything booked ahead of time. Whereas for me, it was going there and then sometimes you would have the plane booked booked, but not necessarily the hotels or the trains, so we can be more flexible as we want.
What's the most career relevant thing you took away from your study product?
I think just having a more global perspective. In general, I guess, especially with that class, how we looked at the different aspects of how a company being in a different country can affect its policies, its finances, and how they work. And also being able to work with people of different backgrounds and different nationalities.
Great. Any final comments? Okay, everyone give Lily a round. How do you think you did?
Okay.
I think, don't you think she did pretty well? Yeah. Cool. What were areas where you felt really uncomfortable or you felt like you didn't answer well?
I think specific things, like when you asked me about the just-in-time inventory, I could not think of the word of that specific topic.
Yeah. I think that you have a lot of really good experiences that you can mine deeply. I want to get some impressions from the audience. What areas would you focus on with Lily to help her deepen her thinking? What were her greatest strengths that you saw? Did she nail them?
The fact that she was able to adapt her learning style to a very different pedagogical method. I mean, I think that, as an educator, I'm picking up on that. I'm thinking that that's when you can actually translate in a cover letter or in a resume, which is, I can shift how I work. We're here at this sort of micromanaging. I don't want to say micromanaging, but I do because I said it. But anyway, we have this focus on, continuous assessment. Whereas when you're in business, in the real world, your boss isn't going to come up and tell you, at the end of the week, yeah, I'm going to give you an A on your pop quiz. You're not getting this continual feedback on your performance. And so the shifting it in the French system where it's based on 1 or 2 assignments where you're not necessarily getting a lot of feedback from the instructor is something that can actually prepare students very well for working in industry, working in outside of the academy, because your boss isn't about to tell you, I give you an A.
Right. It's exactly what Dr. Gardner was talking about. You might have a syllabus, and you had a very formal professor who was just, okay, I'm going to give my lecture today. How long anyone? And you guys had a huge final to study for, and yet you self-organized, right? And you created a team of people that had mutual interests that were high performers probably. As an honor students always seek out honor students. I think there's a formula for that. But that's true, right? So you took the initiative to create your own study mechanism so you could clarify it. You divided up the work. And when I asked you about JIT, this is something that an employer would do to find out, okay, well, what did you present? And that's where you kind of like, oh God, I forgot my name. That was the look that was on Lily's face at that point. And it's not that she is not very capable and doesn't know what she needs to know about JIT. And then I said, oh, well, and then she talked about forecasting, finance term. So then I threw it at her and I said, okay, well, how does that compare here? What I'm looking to do as an employer is have a conversation with you as a colleague. I want you to be on my level. So your ability to speak in my language as an employer is important. And so if I ask you what you presented on, I'm hoping that you're going to be able to tell me. So that's one thing that many students don't realize in an interview, that what they learned was really important. And being able, well, I gave this presentation on X, or the area that I focused in on with this study group was this. And what I found, and why is that relevant to a position in banking or a position in consulting? That's where you want to go with that. Make sense?
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's huge for
very much about
adaptability.
going down from the general into the specifics, giving somebody something concrete rather than the abstract. I mean, that's one of the things when we're reading personal statements for applications for scholarship essays as students or applicants come in and they talk very generally. Ever since I was 3, I've always imagined myself, under the stars and very romantic, very global, very sweeping. But that's not giving me a real clear picture of what this person wants to accomplish.
Right.
And what that I, as maybe a scholarship giver, would want to invest in that into. And those little details sometimes feel very personal and they can be very uncomfortable to talk about. And so the kind of training that